some Harikatha. So it's wonderful. Now, what we will do is, I want to quickly share the theme that we have, what is going on, so that you don't miss the context. And we will come to the particular aspect of today's meditation. So this session is humbly dedicated to a saint, an acharya by name Srila Prabhupada, who used to live in Vrindavan, but he left Vrindavan to give Vrindavan to all of us. I sometimes pity those people. It's a Kartik month. Right? All of us, we're so fortunate. We are in Boston, some God-forsaken place. There is a beautiful deities of the temple which is there. There are people who are aware of it. There are people who are aware of the importance and significance of it. Yet they find it difficult to come to the temple. How, if you go to Vrindavan in this month, you won't find even an inch of space. Yeah, so much of devotion people have. It is the same thing, but somehow this place, especially the Western countries, they are surcharged with ignorance and passion. Very strong layers of ignorance and passion is there. Are you going to college or you're high school? 11th. So some of the things that we hear, it appears of what is ignorance and passion. This people are talking about. Bear with me. I'll tell about this a little bit when we are talking about. So deeply in ignorance, people feel lazy. They feel extra passionate. They don't have time. It is the real important thing in life. So let us just pray to Prabhupada and start with this. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurava Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. So we've been talking that this life, actually, of all the things, can be compared with an exam. Do you like exams? Nobody likes. And unfortunately, life is not just one exam. There are sets of exams which we are subjected to, which we are, which we have to appear for. We don't want them. And the question papers also for each one of us, they differ, vary, they're not the same. And we have to, each time we have to come up successful in this exam. Sometimes somebody may say that, well, I've not faced any exam, or maybe, my life is going fine, but there is one exam which we can't dodge. We all have to pass. We all have to face. That exam is the exam at the time of death. What kind of exam you have to write at the time of death is one big question. So whatever we have done throughout our life, every single action, desires, everything that we have done is tested at the time of death. This is what the Vedic scriptures are telling. Very beautiful verse. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Bhyam Swadharma Paranishkaya Janmalabha Parapumsam. So you have done so nice. This was very high school. You will go join some good college, MIT, Harvard, wherever it is. You'll come out with flying colors, and you'll work for something, get married, you'll have nice married life, you'll have children, you'll grow them up, your mother is good. Then one day you'll become old and you will die. Isn't it that life is all about for all of us? But here, this verse of Bhagavatam is telling, we might have done all these things. We might feel that, I've achieved so much of material success. I became a topper in my school. I became a topper in my college. I became very successful in my corporate career. I had a nice husband, nice wife, nice children. If I'm not able to remember the Lord at the time of death, this is what not just Bhagavatam, all Vedic literatures are saying. And somebody may think that it is easy. What is there? I will live life the way you want me to, or whatever I feel like. The time of death, anyway, I will remember this instruction and I will remember the Lord. What happens is the time of death, the three things which are there inside our body, kapha, vata, pitta, there is an imbalance which happens. So when that happens, it is very difficult to remember the time, Lord at the time of death, unless we have done it when we are young, when we have our organs, senses, everything working very, very difficult. So this is what he says. Actually, this is happens in a conversation between Parikshit and Sukadev. And Parikshit Maharaj is asking this question: what should a man do when he knows he is about to die? And in answer to that, Sukadev Goswami talks about this. So I usually say a small change can make a huge difference, like 1.01 to the power 365. Every day, 1% change consistently. It will bring you 360% over, not doing anything. So very powerful, just doing a little thing. So coming to temple, are all very powerful things. Provided you know the meaning. Then we went to day two, where to get this knowledge. It's not available in some high school or some college or anywhere. And what kind of knowledge is that? We saw verses from Bhagavatam. The paucity of time, I'll go quickly. Yasvana bhavam akila shruti saram ekam adhyatma deepam atidirshatam hanuman. Samsarinam karunaya purana guhyam tam vyasa sunam upayame gurum. Very beautiful verse. So where to get this knowledge? Who should be his qualification? What kind of knowledge? Very nicely given. That is our second day meditation. Third day we spoke about a powerful medicine, a tonic which will help us to remember the Lord. And that was the glories of the Lord. Vyamoha prasamo sadham munimanu vritti pravritti ausadham daidendrati karo sadham tribhuvane sanjeevane kausadham भक्ताद्यन्तहितौषधं भवभयप्रध्वंसनैकौषधं श्रेयप्राप्तिकरौषधं पिबमन श्रीकृष्ण दिव्यौषधम्. Anyway, this also appropriately. Then we spoke about an exam. Usually in India, the IIT JEE is considered one of the top exams. Anybody who comes out successful, the rank holders, usually you'll find their photographs in the coaching institutes that they went to. And what will be in their interview? How did they study? So like that, there are the toppers in this exam, the ultimate exam of life. And their toppers are the gopis. Gopis were Radharani's friends. Now, the gopis, Radharani is the topmost. They excel in devotion in a very exemplary manner, unflinching devotion to the Lord. So, what is their mentality? We spoke about that in the fourth day. I'll go quickly. There is a movie called Laksha that the protagonist of the hero says, that peak of that mountain is my goal. Something like this, gopis are telling that anybody who has got eyes, they should perfectly meditate on the form of the God. That should be the objective of vision. Then we spoke about molding one's life. So I want you to remember this. There are 5 things we should always do. These 5 things will help us to remember the Lord at the time. First thing is sadhu sangha. What is it? Sadhu sangha is association of devotees. So you have to meet some saintly people who are engaged in the devotion of the Lord to hear from them. What am I supposed to do? What is this life all about? Is the life all about just studying, getting and doing your job, or taking care of household life? What is it? What is the ultimate goal of life? That you can learn from sadhu sangha. First is sadhu sangha. Second is nama kirtan. Nama kirtan. So chanting the names of the Lord. Third is Bhagavat Shravan. This is Bhagavat Shravan. Hearing Srimad Bhagavat. Fourth is Mathura Vas. Mathura is a city. It's a place of pilgrimage where Krishna took birth. So if you are not able to stay in Mathura, which is difficult, practically impossible. All of probably you are born here and guessing. You would not like to go back to Mathura and live there, isn't it? But you can live around that temple and your life should revolve around that. There is a sanity, there is a kind of a spiritual direction which is required in our life, which is otherwise missing. Fourth is Mathura Vas. And fifth is Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevan. Sri Murtira Shraddhaya Sevan. That is doing the deity worship. So first is Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. Second is Nama Kirtan, chanting the names of the Lord. Third is Bhagavat Shravan. Fourth is Exactly. Fifth is DT version. Okay. The first is Sadhu Sangha, Association of Devotees. Nam Kirtan is chanting the names of the Lord. Third is Bhagavad Shravan. Fourth is Mathura Vas. Fifth is DT version. DT version. These five things are considered to be the topmost. Now you can be at any place. Tomorrow maybe you will get moved from Swiss where you will go to some other place. Doesn't matter wherever you are, you can practice. Sadhu Sangha, find out the devotees who are there, associate with them. Nam Kirtan, chant the names of the Lord. Bhagavad Shravan, you can hear like you're saying you're listening to something. Bhagavad Shravan, but hear it from proper source, not from someone unauthorized. Yeah, and the fourth one is Mathura Vas, live around the temple. Fifth is DT worship, Sri Murti Rashad has. So we're talking about the various aspects of this five mangas, all wonderful things. So quickly to today's verse, because otherwise we will serve on time. Today we are going to talk about DT worship. What is the significance of DT worship? These are all every day we will be meditating for a lot of glories of every single day. So I will chant one verse. You can repeat after me. Have you been exposed to Sanskrit? Okay, good. Oh, very good. So you know the word. So we will do on chanting of one verse. You can repeat after me. Mandalam Munikrite Makarajasya. We will do one more time. Asam Hare Ravanatam Khilaloka Tipra Stokashru Sagar Vishubhushanam Tyudaram Sammohanaya Ruchitam Nijamaya Yasya Mandalam Munikrite Makarajasya. You want to lead? Start, we will follow one of you. Okay, good. That's it. No problem, you can go. Abhanata. Hasam Hare Ravanata Khilate Praloka Sarloka Tipra. One more time. Can you do it? Hasam Hare Ravanata Khilaloka Tipra. Vishoshana. Sokasru Sagar Vishoshana Tyudaram. Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya. Bhumandalam Nikrite Makarajasya. This verse talks about the effect of the impact of having the darshan of the Lord. So when we come and when we stand before the deity, and when we are having the beautiful darshan of the Lord, actually the Lord is, we need to have the eyes of the qualifications to see. Otherwise we will miss out. This verse is talking about the beauty or the effect of seeing the Lord, or what it does. Do you ever cry in life? If you have to come, make a mistake. There's always a lot of sadness, grief, is it also because of happiness? But happiness can be very rare. Sometimes we usually feel, tears coming out of our eyes when we are going through some intense grief. This verse is telling us, God's face, and two things you have to pay attention as per this. One is the eyebrows. Before you go, you see the effect or the impact of dream is mentioned here. After the children, when they look at the smiling face of the Lord, what happens is all of us, it's not just you, अपने तो खेल लोगों को देखते शोकास जो समाप्त है. We shed tears. The tears that we shed is not some drop, not some answers. Sometimes we cry, incessantly. So much of grief we have in our lives. So much is harder very deeply and we are, like it's an ocean of tears. Imagine because of your tears, you created a waterfall. Sometimes, if the whole life, if we see how many times we have cried, and if somebody collects, maybe it's possible. हरे भगवत खिललों के दिव्य सुख सागर विशोषण अभिधार. Lord's I have to try a ocean of tears. So Kashus Sagar Vishushana Theodar. The Lord is very compassionate. If you just stand in front of the Lord and look at the beautiful smiling face of the Lord, it has a power to triumph the ocean of miseries. Actually, so, it's a very famous, popular trail. Like he had gone for, walking this popular trail in the Swiss mountains. It's called the Bernese Alps. I'm not a big fan of this, but if you're familiar, it's not also. It's apparently very, very popular, this trail. So he had gone there. He was 29 years and he likes to do this kind of camping. He had gone with his band. He does solo trailing eventually. He goes for a solo walk. He doesn't go with other people. So he goes, and from June 22nd, he was missing up until October, sometime last week or some, this is November. And somewhere in the month of October, I got to know about this. And those students were doing a fundraiser to find out where this person has gone, how he is missing. Of course, in October, sometime they found out that he is dead. From June 22nd till October, his body was missing. This is the last program that he had shared on his Facebook profile. And it became a very, maybe many of us do not know about it. It became a very sensational, it became a very a viral this thing that this man has gone missing in one of the most popular trails, yet the police officer is not able to find out the body. And there was some interview of his brother and his parents. They were crying. So we are busy in our lives. Actually, it is not just this one incident. Incidents like this happen everywhere in all spheres of life. There is intense grief in our life. And because of the intense grief, we break down and there is ocean of tears. The smile of the Lord has the power to dry up that ocean of the tears. An enchanting smile of the Lord. Actually, people think, what is the need of spirituality? Why should I come? They find it so difficult. They don't. What is their real benefit? Where is it? What am I madly pursuing? What am I going after? These temporary things which I'm madly engrossed. Are they going to give me anything? Are they going to give us the antenna smriti? There is a process which has been given in the scriptures by the acharyas. Unfortunately, because of one, maybe I have a desire, but it's not a very strong desire. And I'm caught up in this cycle, this dharmas, this obligations, responsibilities, and from my hand, the time is going out, losing out. Dhritarashtra, who's he? That is Dasarath. Dhritarashtra is the father of Kauravas, Duryodhana and his brothers. And Dhritarashtra, after the battle of Kurukshetra was over, he was still there in Hastinapur, living with the family of Pandavas, because Yudhishthira was the king in it. So, and he was still continuing with his life normally the way he used to live. He was continuing. And that time, Vidura, his younger brother, came back from pilgrimage. He was not present during the Kurukshetra. And he comes back and he tells Dhritarashtra very powerful instructions, very powerful. He says, "Oh, Dhritarashtra, you're living here. You're subsisting on the remnants of Pandavas, despite having so much of aspirations to sit on this throne, having lost all your sons, still you have not given up this business of enjoying your senses." And Vidura says one thing, that there is something called death which will happen to us, for which there is no pratikar. There is no remedy for this. Right? There is no way you can counteract this. Each one of us have to face. But we are caught up and we think this is important to us. So here, this verse is telling that, Hasam Hare Ravanata Kilalo Vikta Sokas Sagara Prikoshna. The effect or impact of seeing the Lord. Actually, a person who comes and just stands before the deity, he gets so much of good fortune, so much. Can't even compare. He may not know. Somebody who meditates on the mind of the Lord, all we can practically see this. Actually, we don't see the smiling of the Lord. So we experience the grief and the tears always in our life. But if you just stand and meditate on the mind of the Lord, it can dry up the ocean of tears. Sokashra Sagara Vishwashranamavi. Then he's telling Sammohanaya Rajitam Nijamaya Yasya. Bhumandalam Munikrite Makaram. The Lord may look like stone, but it is by his godless mercy, he has agreed to descend in his own energy. The Lord is the energetic. And one of the manifestation of his energy is this deity form, when he's agreed to appear here. And he's standing here. And if you look at the eyebrows of the Lord, just meditating on the eyebrows, one can get free from one can get free from all the lusty desires, lusty thoughts, which agitate a person's mind. There are many wonderful things that we can talk about from this verse. But I also want to tell you that apart from the deities over here, we have a deity of Srila Prabhupada, of Bengali. कहाँ से बंगाल है पढ़ी पढ़ी कितना उस्टर शिला प्रभुपाद बंगाली हमारा आचार्य उनके डीटी हैं तो उनका एक बहुत बड़ा सिग्निफिकेंस है there is a significance of the deity of Srila Prabhupada. What is the significance? You have to see it from the verses of scripture. Pay attention. Those who are actually pure devotees are celebrated as Mahatmas or great sages. Personalities perfect in knowledge. They always think of the Supreme Lord and His lotus feet, and thus they automatically become liberated. Devotees who are always situated in that position become electrified by the inconceivable potency of the Lord, and thus they themselves become the source of liberation for their followers and devotees. A Krishna conscious person is fully electrified spiritually, and therefore anyone who touches or takes shelter of such a pure devotee becomes similarly electrified with spiritual potencies. It's a very beautiful thing. So this is from Krishna book, very beautiful book, from Bhagavatam 10th canto. It is mentioned that the pure devotees of the Lord are called Mahatmas. Why? Because they are always thinking of the Supreme Lord, His lotus feet, and thus they automatically become liberated. That thinking of the Lord and His lotus feet purifies us. It cleanses us from within. And a person, unless he becomes cleansed and pure, he cannot see the Lord. That purity is a qualification needed to see the Lord. Hearing from the scriptures are needed. It has to act on our heart. Otherwise, you'll come, people come and go. That's all happens. But somebody who's heard and who's so thinking of the Lord and His lotus feet, they automatically become liberated. Devotees who always are situated in that position become electrified with the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. And thus they become themselves the source of liberation for their followers and devotees. Krishna conscious person is fully electrified spiritually, and therefore anyone who touches or takes a center of the devotee becomes similarly electrified with spiritual potency. Srila Prabhupada had a very unique smile. His smile is called oceanic smile. Okay. Those of the devotees who came in touch with Prabhupada, the early days, they have recalled about his smile. Certain things like before you leave. One is the smile of the Lord, the second is another aspect of the Lord's face that you have to remember. The eyebrows. Right? First is the smile and the eyebrows. And then the other thing that you have to do is before you leave, look at the smile of Shraddha. Very merciful. So much impact. I'll read one past time, one this thing. You can repeat, not have to repeat. Just hear it. So this is a devotee who met Prabhupada for the first time. When Prabhupada came through the doors of the lounge, his smile was oceanic. He was beaming. I was supposed to put a garland on him, but I froze. I thought, this person is not in this dimension. I was only 18, but I could tell that he was not of this world. Other devotees were garlanding him, but I didn't even pay my obeisances. Prabhupada walked straight past me as I was standing there looking at him and holding a big garland. Then I ran up to him and slipped the garland on him. It was funny because I was obviously the reception committee, but I was motionless. Prabhupada's smile had knocked me out. The other devotees were practically crying, and that made me more amazed at this person's potency, that he could walk through a door and cause everyone to cry. It was fascinating. Actually, when a pure devotee, the impact that he has when he is present on our lives. So we are fortunate that here we have the deity of Srila Prabhupada as well as the deities of Rama. Very fortunate. But we are unfortunate that we don't get time to hear, we don't pay sufficient attention, and we miss out that right next to us there is a temple. And right next to us, this facilities has been created by the mercy of Prabhupada to take advantage, so that we can quickly, intensely, we can practice devotion and go back. But sometimes when it is too easily available, too close, we'll see afterwards. We will do it like that. So there are many examples of Srila Prabhupada's smile. One more we will take, and then we will close, and then we will have Damodar Ashtakam. So Sutakriti Prabhu mentioned, I joined in London, Bury Place, in 1972, after having the divine darshan of Srila Prabhupada, who happened to be there at that time. And it was this very first darshan in which Srila Prabhupada, with a very oceanic smile, touched my head and said this one word into me which changed my life. That word was Jai. So after that, I decided to join this movement. Anyone who has experience of coming in close contact with Srila Prabhupada, it's a very extraordinary experience. I personally felt this is Radha Damodar ki, this is Nitai Kunand ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand. I personally felt as if their lordships Radha and Krishna were present in the same room with Srila I personally felt as if their lordships, Radha and Krishna, were present in the same room with Srila Prabhupada. There is another devotee who recalls when Prabhupada, after the deity installation in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram temple, when he was doing the Arati, and after the Arati, when he turns back to show the peacock feather, there is a smile of Prabhupada. You've seen those photos. You've seen that? Which I was just talking about. Krishna Balaram, the Vrindavan temple in Arati, and then he looks back at the peacock feather. There is a smile of the Lord, a smile of Prabhupada, and the devotee recalls that the smile was so enchanting, so expressive. Krishna personally was smiling too. So the effect of seeing the smile of the Lord, it can dry up all the ocean of miseries in our heart. Not just the Lord, even his devotees, pure devotees. And the second thing that we spoke about, the eyebrows. So these are something about the deity worship. Now we will have Damodar Ashtakam in 2 minutes, 1 minute. We will chant that verse one more time. And then Hare Ramanatha Khilaloka Tibra Lokashtu Sagar Vishoshanamatyudana Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya Mandalam Nikrite Makarat Jasya. Second and fourth, I'm not very correct. Sadhu Sangha, Association of Devotees. Yes, Bhagavad Shravan. Prabhupada ki, Kartik Mahamahotsav ki, Nitai Gaur